Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Jimbo, and today we're talking about quite possibly one of the most, in my opinion, overrated just things in all of the detailing space, all of the car washing space. Literally the most overrated, the most overthought, the most overcomplicated thing that is really just super simple. And in this video, I'm going to talk about why it's complicated, why it's overrated, and then a couple of tips on how you can make it less complicated and a really underrated way to do it. So what is the most overrated thing in all of detailing, in my opinion? It's this, the 2-bucket wash method. And another word for it being overrated would be like antiquated. It's old school. It's really dumb, in my opinion. And so if you're not familiar with what the 2-bucket wash method is, it's literally 2 buckets, right? And one contains your grit guard, it's going to contain your soap, it's your main wash bucket. And then your second bucket is going to be just clean, fresh water. And the idea is that as you go around your car washing it, you're pulling out of the soap bucket, and then you're going to wash your car. Then you're going to essentially rinse it or rinse free of any debris that may be in your wash mitt in your clean water bucket. And so before you dunk it back into your soap bucket, right? So the idea and the theory behind it is that you would have a clean wash mitt every time you go to make contact with your car's paint. Thus, you eliminate scratching, or at least the chance of scratching would be greatly reduced, and you will have a clean wash mitt every single time. The reason why it's overrated is, why stop at 2? Why not have 3 or 4 or 5? Why not dip your wash mitt in a fresh bucket of water? So you're going from your soap bucket to your car to your clean water bucket, which is great for the first time, but what about all the subsequent times after that? Because now your clean water bucket is essentially contaminated after that first time, right? Of course, you could talk about you have the grit guard, and so all the dirt and debris is being loosened onto the bottom, but you already have a grit guard in your soap bucket too. So if you're taking that theory, wouldn't it essentially be the same thing? So my point is, and why it's overrated, is that you're essentially risking contamination in your clean water bucket after the first time you use it. So if you continue that logic out, you're going to need multiple buckets to really ensure that you're not going to scratch your car. So completely overrated. There's these fancy dollies, there's these fancy contraptions to have this 2-bucket, or really even 3 buckets, because now you have one for the wheels, which is a lot more understandable. But then why don't you have 2 buckets for the wheels? Because that doesn't really make sense, that the dirtiest part of your car is only going to have 1 bucket, especially with a lot of painted rims, but then you have 2 buckets for the paint, but you really should have more than 2 buckets. It just leads to a bunch of confusion. People overthink it, and it's completely overrated. So I'm gonna make it super simple, super safe, and talk about a method that I think is the future. This is, if you've been washing your car with 2 buckets, you're really washing your car from like 1980. If you wanna wash your car in like 2080, this is how we're gonna do it. And so how we're gonna do it is a few different ways with tools that you already have. So you probably already have a bunch of wash mitts. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna fill up one single bucket. Have a grit guard, have your soap, have your water, have it all mixed together in one single bucket. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna have multiple items. So either, if you're gonna do wash mitts, you're gonna have multiple wash mitts. Maybe you have 6 or 7 different wash mitts, and you're gonna stick them all in that same bucket. Or if you don't have wash mitts, but you have microfiber towels, you may take 6 or 7 microfiber towels and dunk them in the bucket. Or if you're a fan of Autofiber and you like saving money, you could use code Jimbo at autofiber.com. And Ian developed these wash mitt pads, I guess you can call them. I actually think that's what they're called, pads. It's basically microfiber towels sewn together to make a wash pad. Now they come in packs of 4, so you could either use 1 pack or 2 packs or whatever. And you have these wash pads and you stick them in that single bucket. Now for you apartment dwellers or you condo dwellers or people where it's just not convenient to have multiple buckets and multiple tools, you can simply take your pads, your microfiber towels, or your wash mitts in one bucket, and then once they're all in the bucket soaping up, you go to do your contact wash, you pick up one thing. This is why I like the wash pad too, it's double-sided. You take one pad out, You start washing with maybe the gray side, and then you could flip over to the blue side, and then boom, you discard that wash mitt. But no worries, because you have 8 more wash mitts or 8 more microfiber towels or 8 more wash mitts sitting in your bucket, right? And your bucket isn't contaminated either, because that dirty wash mitt never went back inside your clean soapy water. You discarded it, put it off to the side to rinse out later or wash or whatever you're going to do with it later. Every time you reach back into your bucket, you can be assured that you're getting a super clean wash pad, mitt, towel, whatever. I like a towel sometimes as well, but it's super clean, free of any contamination on the car. And so you're really never going to scratch your car. You've done it with one single bucket, a couple towels or a couple mitts or these pads that are really cool. But that is the most efficient way, I think, in my opinion, to wash your car going forward. Ditch the multiple buckets, ditch the hassle, ditch all the extra cost, and just go for the mitts, the towels, or the pads. Save yourself a lot of confusion, save yourself a lot of hassle. You don't have to worry about if your clean water bucket's getting contaminated, because you could be assured every time you rinse into your soap bucket, you are getting the cleanest possible mitt out, and you're not gonna scratch your car. So, hope you guys enjoyed that video. Let me know if you use this method. Have you been using this method? Or are you still stuck in the most overrated way to wash a car with multiple buckets? Love to hear your thoughts, feelings, emotions in the comments below. And on your way down there, don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button. And I'll catch you guys on the next video. See ya.